We have breaking news in the Sebastian Waindrake Rogers case. Well, kind of, sort of. Sebastian Waindrake Rogers is a 15-year-old boy that disappeared on February 26, 2024. He has since had a 16th birthday on December 7th. That's correct. It has been almost a year since Sebastian Waindrake Rogers disappeared from inside his locked Hendersonville, Tennessee home. Many people that have been following this case from the beginning know how cluttered this case has become with controversy, even almost a circus. The information and controversy surrounding the mom and stepfather and their story related to Sebastian Waindrake Rogers has come under heavy scrutiny by the public, both online and offline. The mom and stepfather have hired a team of people known for running interference in cases online, including an unscrupulous PI that says he knows a lot more than it appears that he knows. He states he knows who was in the vehicle at 3 a.m., spotted on a home surveillance camera that captured two lights coming from, allegedly, the backside of the Proudfoot home. Lights that appeared to come from the backside of the Proudfoot home and into a common area. Over the last month, we have heard a lot of information further damaging the credibility of the mom and stepfather. We learned that there were 5 CPS reports related to Sebastian Waindrake Rogers. We heard that they had been trying to find a new place for him to live as far back as October 2022. We have watched the chaos of the people that they have chosen to work with erupt on social media. And those people tell us that it's possible that Chris's truck was seen in the area on a Wi-Fi of some sort around the time allegedly Sebastian could have went missing. The stepfather maintains that his truck was there after 1 p.m. on the 26th and no such time prior to it. The stepfather then goes on a podcast and answers questions, which raise even more questions in the community. Furthermore, the unscrupulous PI hired by the mom and stepfather started manufacturing reports related to the view of the camera that spotted those lights on the outside of their home. And we're all wondering why he would do that. And those reports were debunked by the mob crew with receipts. Shortly after that, the stepfather is seen in the woods with other content creators recording a search where they took a spirit box with them. Other discussions, the stepfather believes that it's possible that Sebastian was hit by a car, even though there's no evidence ever pointing in that direction. I don't know any real true crime content creator that ever wants to think any parent could harm their child. It's not like we're seeking it out. But you know what hate channels say? Listen to this.
So, I have a question starting a new subject. Why do you think the Lore Lounge is like so gun-ho? Like, he's even on Twitter kind of going at SF. Like, why do you think he's so gun-ho about this whole situation?
Because you're not making any money unless you're after Chris and Katie, right?
Yeah, but it seems a little odd. Like, I just sat there and I was like thinking to myself that this just doesn't make sense a lot of times.
Well, none of it makes sense. A lot of it don't make sense why these people are going after Chris and Katie. Because there's obviously not enough evidence. Yeah, but all these people are going against, I mean, they sound stupid because, I mean, they say all this stuff against Chris and Katie, I mean, about the different interviews and stuff like that. And I could say the same shit about Seth. I mean, their arguments are just stupid, in my opinion. But they feel like if they have, like I've said before, they're not going to make the story isn't there unless they have the boogeyman. So Chris and Katie have to be guilty or they don't have a story. If Sebastian was just lured out or abducted or whatever, there's no story there, right?
I can't believe that this panel of people would actually think that it is more popular for a mom and dad to have done it than it would be for a whodunit and everybody looking to figure out who it could possibly be. That is the most ludicrous thing I have ever heard in my life. People are interested in this case because of the twists and turns. Okay, that's what draws the audience in. And we're happy to have that audience to elicit information from. But to think that it has to be the mom and dad in order to get the audience attention, that couldn't be further from the truth. Look at the Idaho 4, a prime example. Sebastian deserves better than this. There is not a person on these platforms that wanted to be a mom and a stepfather that could have harmed anybody or could have disappeared anybody or could have done any type of custodial interference or whatever the case may be. Nobody ever wants to think a child is abused inside their beautiful home and the facade that some families create to hide the abuse. There's not one person on this platform that I think would ever want that for a click and a view. And if you do, you are what I classify as a monster. We're here to try to help this family get information and find their son. All these other idiots, I don't know what they're here for. What we do know as fact, however, is that Seth has been searching for his son ever since his son disappeared. Seth has publicly taken a polygraph. He has publicly produced his work records. This man has done everything he could possibly do, including working with the FBI, working with me to advocate for his son, calling on the national media, getting Nick the Hat and Dog the Bounty Hunter, and we're here with what from the mom and stepfather? Nothing for almost 10 months. Shoddy searches at best, working with an unscrupulous PI, felons, and including one searcher utilizing substances, illicit substances, while searching for their son. I have to say that this is the most highly disturbing part of this case, is the mom and stepfather's behaviors and actions since this boy has been reported missing. Again, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers has been missing since February 26, 2024. He has brown to dirty blonde hair, brown eyes. He stands about 5 foot, 5 inches tall. He weighs between 110 to 120 pounds. And again, last seen in Hendersonville, Tennessee. If you know where Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is, please reach out to 1-800-TBI-FIND, your nearest local law enforcement office or the nearest FBI office. Can you help find this boy? Do you have information as to where he is or what happened to him? Please call today. There is a $250,000 reward for any information leading to his whereabouts or the successful prosecution of those responsible for his disappearance. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment here on this video. God bless each and every one of you.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, hello, my beautiful people of YouTube. And as promised, I am still in pajama mama mode. I hope everybody is doing well. Good, happy, loving Sunday to all. For those that were in church today, thank you. It's always nice. What a great message. What a great message today in church. Absolutely loved it. As promised, with all this chaos going on, self-inflicted chaos, I think, no matter how much we can see that no matter what you do, you can bring truth to power. And some people are too stupid to know what they're talking about. But we're not going to get into that, because at the end of the day, what needed to be seen, God had his hands in, and he took the blinders off a lot of people's eyes over the last several weeks. We've been praying for Sebastian. We've been praying for Seth. God moves mountains, and God's moved mountains. Okay. There's a lot of stuff that needed to be seen that has been seen over the last week. But we don't need to dwell in it, because it has no benefit for Sebastian. It's for the people that are here fighting for Sebastian. And we need to start moving this case forward, okay? A lot of us spend way too much time over in the drama and the chaos, which is created by the drama and the chaos, right? And it's easy to get sucked into, and we all just get sucked into it. But at some point, we got to let it go, right? What needed to happen has already happened. We see who these people are in the flesh. We know who they are in their integrity, their character, who they are. We no longer need to waste any more time on people that aren't helping. It's time to get back to work, and that is what we're going to be doing today. This is a Sebastian-focused channel. Even my latest complaints I've been handling on my smaller channel, because I don't want this to cloud Sebastian's name whatsoever. Sebastian deserves better from the true crime community. He deserves better from all of us that keep getting sucked into the drama. And it's time to get back to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. It's this beautiful smile right here. Although AI edited, it didn't edit his smile. Okay, and it didn't edit his face. So that's a beautiful smile of a beautiful boy that should be with his dad. So, Sebastian is now 16. He disappeared on February 25th, 2024, when he was only 15 years old. He was last seen at his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee. On October 2022, reports emerged recently indicating the mom and stepdad have attempted to rehome Sebastian. They were looking into physical places for him to be. And they were way out of their budget, almost $7,000 a month. These places are not cheap. Realizing after that they cannot afford it, and waiting for Seth to get his home and everything necessary together to get Sebastian over to his house. But that process started back in October 2022, just shortly after they purchased that big, beautiful home they like to call home, but apparently didn't want Sebastian to call that home. Prior to February 2024, there were 5 separate Department of Children and Family Services reports that we learned. We don't know what is in them, but it was concerning Sebastian's safety and well-being. The day before his disappearance, February 25th, which is the day I consider he disappeared, Sebastian was last seen at the Proudfoot home. There have been reports that it's possible, and I'm going to stress that, possible. We don't know the details of it. We only heard it from one channel, that Chris's truck was reported to be in the area around the time of Sebastian's disappearance. I want to make sure we also know the stepfather has affirmatively denied those allegations and said his truck did not appear there until after 1 p.m. on the 26th. So specific events leading to Sebastian's disappearance remain unclear due to lack of transparency from those in the household. The Amber Alert was initiated on February 27th in the afternoon of the February 27th, which made people believe that this was a potential abduction. However, they kept saying this was due to him being on medications and things of that nature. I keep going over the protocols for the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children and what could trigger a Amber Alert, and it doesn't seem to have any other purpose but for abducted children. I just thought I'd throw that out there. If somebody else has some additional information that I don't have, please let me know. I'm going to get to saying hi to all of you guys. I know I got a few people in chat. I saw some people I haven't seen in a while. So thank you all for being here. I just wanted to get through this dossier real quick, and then we'll move on. Initial efforts. So early search efforts were slow and inconsistent with little active involvement from the mom and stepfather. Law enforcement has not named, but it is because of this case and the fact that it's criminal investigation, and you would have to assume that everybody near and around this child, now that it's a criminal investigation, would be persons of interest. Oh, thank you guys. And I'll get over to the goals. We have goals today, goals for fundraising, as well as considering doing a second live tonight. So if that's what you guys would like, we'll be doing a live around 8 p.m. If we meet the goal. It is Sunday, so it's going to take me a while to come up with a good something for an 8 o'clock show that you guys would want to watch and listen to. I think you guys are going to want to hear what's in this show once I get through all of this. So we know that they have not been publicly named as persons of interest, but assumption would be that they are persons of interest, predominantly Katie, if nothing more, at the very lowest level, because she was the last person with this child and around this child at the time of his disappearance. And if this is a criminal investigation, she would absolutely be a top person of interest in this case. Controversy surrounding the mom and stepfather and their family, attempts to shift blame. The Proudfoots and their associates have harassed neighbors, accusing one of them who came forward of harming Sebastian. Hate channels have circulated baseless theories to protect the mom and stepfather. Termination of security measures. The mom and stepfather, according to At Night Intelligence, the Brinks home security contract has been terminated. According also to At Night Intelligence, private intelligence also indicated a potential sale of their home, which I have to say is a little concerning. Now, this unscrupulous PI that Proudfoot's hired has harassed witnesses. One neighbor felt so threatened she left her home and stayed in a hotel. Threatened Miss Bobby. The PI reportedly claimed to have her under full surveillance, increasing concerns for her safety. Nobody should have to be treated like that, especially somebody that's just a neighbor in a community. One of the right-hand men, Stephen Crabtree, affiliated with the channel Vanished and Corrupt with Steve Crabtree, was caught on camera utilizing illicit substances while doing a search for Sebastian. Affiliated content creators such as Queen Bee face 2 new court cases, one for custody and one for a protective order for stalking. And of course, we have the police report of an incident with allegations of her daughter being strangled. Queen says it was her other daughter that committed the felony. I guess only time will tell as this progresses through whatever mechanism it needs to progress through. At Night Intelligence Agency and Dog the Bounty Hunter investigated efforts. At Night continues to lead a robust search and investigative operation. The agency believes Sebastian is alive and is investigating potential leaks to trafficking and other organized crime. Harassments and threats. The At Night staff and partners have been targeted from targets of this coordinated hate campaign involving fraudulent tipsters, harassment emails inciting protest, mafia-style intimidation tactics aimed at obstructing their work. And there is a $2,000 reward for any information for people that come forward and provide them the evidence that they need to hold these people accountable. Also, there's another reward that was just sent out recently. I posted it on my X account from Hong for $5,000. I'll let you guys go over there and read that. If you guys have any information, I'd reach out to Hong. Community and advocacy support. The community remains divided, with many demanding answers from the mom and stepdad, while others are attempting to shield them from scrutiny. Myself, as other advocates, including Nick the Hat with At Night Private Intelligence, along with others like Justin for All, I saw him in here. I know that Smiley's World comes in here, Spirit Seeker Squad, a lot of content creators, Sweet Misery. I can't remember all of you beautiful people. War Eagle, War Damn Eagle, 5D, Hindsight's in here. I don't know who else. I think Meow. Don't you have a channel somewhere too? So we're all advocates pushing for transparency and accountability. We just have a lot of people. And questions and concerns is why did the Proudfoots delay active search efforts? What is the significance of the stepfather's truck in the area at the time, potentially at the time of Sebastian's disappearance? Why were attempts to rehome Sebastian? Why were attempts made to rehome Sebastian prior to his disappearance? Nobody has ever told us why he could not be in that house, why this was causing such a marital dispute between the mom and the stepdad, and what was the purpose of him not being able to be around his stepsister. You know, those answers, the whole reason why we're here, none of that has ever been answered. All roads lead to Rome. Yep. But we still don't even know the basics of why this child was being kicked out of his own home. You know? What role, if any, did the mom and stepdad's associates play in this case? Hong's making some serious allegations on X right now, you know, related to some type of meeting that happened before, like 3 or so days before this child disappeared. I haven't seen anything. This is just allegations that are being spewed on X. You know, I don't know what At Night has. I knew At Night had a whole dossier and just a huge file behind the scenes. I mean, you kind of knew it because you always felt like they were holding something back. You know what I'm saying? And we all kind of knew that they've been holding something back. But I had no idea that they had this trove of information that it seems like they weren't planning on putting out there, but because of these people just constantly putting bad information out to protect these horrible people, they've just said, wait a minute, fine. You want to keep playing this game here? Let's just throw everything out there, the stuff that doesn't matter too. But it just really shows you who these people are. It is what it is, right? So what did their associates play in this case? And what is being done to address the harassment of the witnesses and investigators? We haven't heard what's being done to address the issue. We know some police reports were filed, but what's going on with those police reports? Are those moving forward, and is law enforcement taking it serious? I mean, I have to think that somebody being harassed out of their house would trump somebody driving around in their own private car on own private roads, posting flyers on in public easements, literally not doing anything wrong, not disturbing the peace, not disturbing one person, certainly driving somebody out of their house. There is a protocol for that if driving around on public property gets you arrested, right? So what is being done about these police reports that were filed? Did they just dismiss them and act like it's no big deal? Are they going to wait until one of these people get hurt by this unscrupulous PI or somebody in their family, or somebody, them eliciting help from somebody to act on their behalf? Because they got some crazy ones that are working with them. We've seen it displayed. I mean, literally every single one of their content creators that they needed to help them with this, which we told you, the only people that they're running to are people that are designed to cause chaos and disinformation and misinformations all over social media. But they ran to them, and now we see everything coming out about those people. Literally everything. These are not good people. So why would good people run to bad people, horrible people? We have to ask ourselves those questions too. Sebastian is still missing and time is of the essence. We implore anyone with information, no matter how small, to come forward. Holding back the truth only prolongs the pain and delays justice for Sebastian. You guys know all the tip lines. And Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers obviously is not just a name. Say his name, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. He's a child who deserves to be found. The clock is ticking and we cannot allow distractions, threats, or misinformation to derail this mission. Let's keep our focus on finding the truth and bringing Sebastian home safely. That's what we're here for. There we go. All right, guys, that's kind of my intro coming in. Thank you guys for allowing me to bend your ear. Thank you all for being in here. Happy Sunday! We know a bunch of idiots like to go over and watch a bunch of idiots bitching about how pieces of crap they are and how they like to bring everybody else down to their level and show how much of a piece of crap are, but by bringing everybody's past up while they're doing current dirt and BS. We are not going to allow them to do that. Those people that are over there, obviously their top priority is not Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. So please take note of them, because the people that are here for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers needs to start advocating for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. It has been almost a year and people are playing these crazy games, right? God has moved mountains. Look at the information God has given us to see over the last several months. Let's keep those prayers up, because I believe more will come out. Now, coming back to this case, we focus heavily on the interviews from the mom and stepdad, right? We even have reviewed the interviews related to Seth. We're going to be going back to all these interviews and looking at the body language of both mom and stepdad, as opposed to the father, right? But we keep missing one very critical person that has really done a lot in this case and has really told us a lot in this case. But before we get started, I want to say hello to my beautiful coffee beans. We are going to start with Chaos. It is nice to see you, Tiffany. Hey, Jude is up in the house. SBED teacher, Lady Roses. Grave Crime with Grace, it's nice to see you. Jackie, good afternoon. Tiffany, Nani, Peggy, KJ, it's nice to see you, my love. Andrea's up in the house. She's the one that makes those beautiful little graphics for Sebastian Strong, Sebastian's Army. She's been really doing great. I've been stealing some from her. I like them. What can I say? I like them. Where are we? Kelsey, it's nice to see you. Cheryl, I got time today. So do I. Imagine that. Phil, it's nice to see you. Our beautiful Betty fans up in the house. Margaret, it's nice to see you. Truth in Time, I think I said hi to you, but I'm not sure. So hi again if I didn't. Melody, it's nice to see you. Robin's up in the house. Pam, hello. Our beautiful brown-eyed girl, it's nice to see you. Mama Rissa, it's nice to see you. Oh, our beautiful Melanie, putting money toward our goal. We have a goal right now. This is really a fundraiser for our court costs, but it also, I will do an 8 o'clock live if we can meet our goal today. We are trying to raise the money for our attorney. I'm pretty sure tomorrow I'm getting the call. I got the call Friday that I missed. It was an email, so I didn't get to it until later in the afternoon. And I didn't mean to miss it, but I know I'm going to have the call with the attorney tomorrow. So just thought I'd throw that out there. I know we kind of got away from it. I didn't want to, oops, sorry, I'm playing with my buttons back here. I didn't want to get away from it too much. Give me just a second. Give me just a second, y'all. My camera. Okay, I think we got it. We might have it back. I don't know. Let's see if I got it back. Yeah, it's not still. I got my camera back, but it always takes my virtual background away from me. I don't like it. I don't like it when it takes my virtual background. It's not even allowing me to put my virtual background back on. Let me change my camera. You can't do that to me. I like my virtual background. Why is my other camera not working? A black box. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now I don't have any camera. My camera just went black on me, guys. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna have to unplug this, guys. Stick with me. Stick with me. Got to get this thing done. Hold on. I'm back. There we are. It's on the computer. Okay. So let's get our webcam back. There we go. And our audio and our virtual backgrounds. Let's blur for right now until we get the camera back on. Are we back on? My camera's blank. Oh my gosh, guys, my camera's blank. Give me a sec. All right, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back and I'm bad. I'm back and I'm bad. Badder than ever. Holy crap. There we go. Okay, we're getting it back, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I was nervously playing with a cord I shouldn't have been playing with. If you guys want to know what truly happened, that's what happened. I played with a stupid cord. Next thing I know, my camera's gone. And it wouldn't come back on. And it's all my fault. But as I was getting at, one person that we never really talk about in all of our devotion. Oh, hey, CJ, it's nice to see you. In all of our devotion of the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case is Ken, the EMA director there in Sumner County. He is the one that set up all the searches, right? He was the director of all those volunteers. He really had what it took to put this whole, thing together, right? So why aren't we talking more about the information he might have? Why are we only talking? Why is this thing? Okay, reset. Hold on. Let me clear that off. Let me go over here. Thank you, guys. Oh, look at that. Alita, I got caught up and you were talking about names and you mentioned you finally got mine right. I did. I only need to learn it like once. If I say it over and over again, I'm good. Thank you, Shining Star, Melanie, Aletha. They can put you in jail, but not look for their own job. Yes, and that's exactly why Shirley always calls them numbnuts. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, we want you found and pray daily for your safe return. Thank you so much, Aletha. Thank you. It is getting deep. But like I said, one thing we're not focusing on is Matt Widener. Ken Widener. What does he know? What is he doing? What information does he have in his hot little hands, right? I thought that was a mugshot. I should probably get a bigger screen. No, it's the EMA director. We're about to kick off our actual show right now. Now that we're 35 minutes into it. Boy, I know how to socialize, don't I? I think I worked the coffee club room pretty well today. If I say so myself. All right, so what does Ken have to say? This is from WSMV. We're going to go through some of this stuff, and we're going to have some talking points on it.
The pain threshold, the drive in these men and women, young boys and young girls is greater than ours.
Hold on.
Okay?
I don't think we got...
One thing I've learned about autism is the stamina, the pain threshold, the drive in these men and women, young boys and young girls is greater than ours. Okay. So the particular case in northern Mississippi and West Tennessee, this young man walked until he passed out. And when they got to him, he was laying face down, and they were like, "Oh my!" But he was unconscious, and they've done stories on him, and so that's something we're looking at, and we urge people to get out and check those locations. A lot of farms in Sumner County, a lot of creeks in Sumner County. Check.
They were talking about another case that they were applying to this case. If you guys got confused.
One thing I've learned about.
So that's what he said. And, he talks about their determination and stuff is much greater than ours. And yeah, that could be accurate. We know that they're more determined. They're very intelligent. They just do things and behave a little differently than the rest of us. But I still think it's ultra, ultra important to look at the EMA director, which we haven't done. We haven't really honed in on him yet in the information he has. Do we have the original searches that were done? Maybe the maps that they used? Yeah, we do. We got to pull them from these videos right here. We have something we can mark off the map. We just weren't looking for it. So we're going to go over there, and I'm going to stop it where it needs to be stopped. And I want people to take the screenshots that they need to take, and let's start marking our real maps that we're working with. That would be my suggestion.
Ashton, what are you hearing from authorities there?
Well, I'm actually here with EMA Director, Sumner County EMA Director Ken Widener, to get a direct update on this search that's happening. And so what is the plan for today? This has now been a week since we've last seen Sebastian Rogers.
Yeah, we're starting day 7, and
sorry, but I want you guys to understand this is a week into the investigation, and some of his statements, I don't want to be critical of him because he has a hard job to do, but we're going to be a little critical because I think after a week they should have had this information, but they were relying on professionals instead of the parents in these assessments. And I'm going to stop it and explain it why.
And we've actually got search crews coming in. We've got a bus unloading right now. Yesterday we ran about 330 searchers on the ground, and we'll start that process again today and work through the day. We have a rough number of searchers today, but we'll have that final number at the end of the day, and we're just going to continue to work the search areas and expand that as we go.
Is it still, I know the focus has been, around water. Has anywhere of where you guys have been looking changed at all?
Before I let you guys hear him answer this is the statement that drives me up a wall. And here's why. What we've learned, I'm just going to give you guys this before we go into this. What we've learned is that Sebastian was a swimmer. He swam very well, but he doesn't like dirty water. He's 15 years old that doesn't like dirty water. He's not attracted, okay? He's not attracted to that kind of water. We learned that very early on from his mom, stepdad, and of course his father saying that he taught him how to swim. So it's really kind of, I'm going to let you guys listen to the statement, and then we're going to discuss, and then I'm going to read the chat here in just a second.
No, and
let's go back to the question.
Is it still, I know the focus has been, around water. Has anywhere of where you guys have been looking changed at all?
No, and the thing with water is several people that I've spoken to and from some case study, autistic people like water. They like streams. We actually had a young kid come in here Tuesday that wanted to tell us where Sebastian might be in regards to where he would like to go. So we talked to him, and he said, they like streams.
Okay. So they're talking to probably, it sounds like maybe a potentially autistic boy that may have wanted to assist the law enforcement because they're autistic and they would know how to help. And I get that. And I get to speaking to professionals. But one thing I've learned from all of you, as well as speaking to professionals, is autistic children are very much different from one another. It's very rare to have the same likes. But they split. For example, we do have autistic children that are attracted to water that don't know how to swim, right? And so they run toward the water. They don't have an issue with the water, and they don't realize how dangerous the water is. So we have that side of things, and then others that know how to swim or don't like water at all. And I would think that a week in, they would have understood who Sebastian was as a boy and as an autistic boy, and what his likes and dislikes were. I mean, we're talking about 7 days later, a day before they scaled back the search. Why wasn't this critical information provided to them by the mother? I mean, it sounds like they really haven't talked about it, because, I mean, think about it. If you were a mom, right, and you knew your child did not like water, wouldn't you be like, look, I know that you guys are looking at the water, but you need to be looking somewhere else. He's not going to the water. You'll have a better chance of finding him swimming in a pool than you will a lake. You know, you would think that the mom would have let them know more. Just my opinion. Let me go up here. I'm going to get a few questions here, or statements, whatever. It says, I definitely believe this man is working diligently. His heart seems to be willing to find Sebastian. All humans are imperfect, but his motive seems good. If you're talking about Ken Widener, yes, I do believe, he's a grandpa. He's working his butt off. He's trying to find this boy. I think they all were trying to find this boy. But again, they were manipulated into thinking this child literally just ran away from home. And yet state that there's no reason for a child that's never ran away from home before to run away from home. Right? They spent so much time and manpower searching, but they feel somewhat defeated after it's been almost a year. Yeah, I'd have to. We all feel defeated after almost a year. Like, we've been waiting for the call to come in for so long for Sebastian. It's hard. Oh, grace upon grace. Not all individuals with ASD are attracted to water, but many are, but not all. Exactly. And that was my point. But my point is not the actual search of the water, that I would want anybody to search everywhere, high and low. Go, don't let any stone go unturned, right? But it just seems like after a week, they would have a better understanding on who Sebastian is. And the fact that it's not, I understand others, there's a lot of kids that go toward water. We hear almost on a weekly basis, or at least a monthly basis, that a child got out of their home. And then we get the sad news that they were found in a local body of water near their home. We hear it. So we know that that's true. There's no doubt about it. But we're talking about Sebastian, and we're talking about a week into the investigation for Sebastian. Not for another kid, for Sebastian. It's just my personal opinion that they should have been passed. They should still check it, but it shouldn't have been the primary focal, is my point. It shouldn't have been the primary focal point in their investigation. And I feel a little bit that they were, they just knew autistic children went toward water, and they were very ignorant like me when it comes to autism, and thinking that all children behave the same. One thing I have learned, I tell you what, the one thing I have learned is that children with autism are as different as a box of chocolates, as Forrest Gump would say, right? You never know what you get until you get to meet them, right? So it's that's the one thing. That's the one thing. I couldn't even really attribute behaviors or anything. The only thing close to me finding anything that was, I could connect one autistic child to another. It wasn't the things that they melted down for. It wasn't the things they liked, they disliked. It wasn't nothing like that. But the one thing that I found the commonality with all of them, the majority of them, was video games. And that's when that video game being left behind by Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers was so detrimental in my mind, because of the research that I've done. And my research was from you guys that had, firsthand experience right? I didn't have the firsthand experience. I was ignorant. I had no knowledge. I didn't know. I've heard of what autism is, but I had no earthly idea what it was. I've only heard the word. I think all of us, we pass it off like, oh, their child has autism. I don't think anybody really dives in any deeper. We had to in this case, and many people were drawn to this case because of his disability. And they wanted to share their experience because the mom and stepdad's statements weren't making sense to a lot of them. So that's kind of where we are. So I agree. Long way to get to agreement, but I agree.
Being behind buildings or in buildings in small places and things like that. We've had teams come in from East Tennessee, specialized search teams and cave rescue, and they're going in every cave that is marked or that we're aware of, and we searched under the ground in culverts. The city of Gallatin brought their camera truck out and they hit all the culverts
all the culverts. So those are cleared. Remember when the spirit box was out in the woods and discussions right around that time were being had that Sebastian may have been hit by a car? There was literally no evidence supporting that. And they've hit they had a team specifically come in just to cover the culverts, which is where he would have ended up if he had been hit by a vehicle.
In the area, and we've cleared those. So we're just going to continue to expand and just keep pounding it out.
And we know.
All right, guys, I got to pause it right there because my oven is going off. Actually, I'll just let it keep playing. I'll have to go back. We got another video after this. I got to get some food out of the oven.
A lot of agencies are here from across the state working together on this. I mean, is that usual for a search like this, searching for a child?
Yeah, that's pretty common. And we make requests and we have people contact us and say, hey, we're available if you want us to come. And we vet that and we pull the trigger on it. And, the biggest thing, and there's a lot of concern about utilizing volunteer searchers and we can't manage 1,000 volunteers. We can manage the trained search teams that we can track and we have communications with. So rest assured, we're doing everything we can do. We talk to mom and dad and stepdad every day, and we'll talk to them this morning and give them an update on what we're doing. And
I don't like that they can't manage a team of 1,000 people, because when J.J. Rowland, and he was from Brooksville? I remember it was a place up north. It was Brooksville. And guys, I'm telling you, the volunteers, they didn't have the police come in. They had volunteers from all over the state of Florida, like me, go in and sign up. And we had to show our driver's license to the sheriff's department. They had to take pictures of us, and they gave us a little thing to tie around our ankle so we would know. They gave us an app to put on our phone to go out and search, to clock where we searched off and what areas we cleared. And we went out there and searched, and we had about 1,000, I had to say at least 1,000 volunteers out there. And I don't understand how they can't take on, volunteers. Now, granted, Florida's a lot more flat than Tennessee. They do have some issues, but, those things can be resolved with a hold harmless. If that's the concern of these, police departments, you got to remember, you're putting yourself in danger. You're going out there on your own free will. If you want to help, signing a hold harmless for the law enforcement, I have no problem doing that. I take personal responsibility for any injuries I get while I'm out searching for people, and most people will as well. So there's ways that they can get around, liability of searchers if they so choose. If they really wanted to cover cover their own butts, that's the best way to do it. So long story short, I still believe that they should have had volunteer people working, volunteer individuals in an area that was maybe flatter, so law enforcement could tend to more pressing areas. They could have done something. That's just my point. They could have done something. They chose not to do to bring in civilians for searching. And, Sebastian isn't found. Now, could it have helped? Who knows, right? We really don't know. And unless, if it's not done, you'll never know. We definitely know 100% without bringing civilians on, certain areas probably weren't searched. A lot of volunteers, believe it or not, come with a lot of experiences. Some of them are rock climbers, mountain scalers. You never know what you get. Maybe they're more technology and advanced than some law enforcement to get into certain areas. You should be asking people with different type of experiences and expertise and skills. Maybe doing a skill set volunteer, community volunteer. People with certain skill sets could help them and volunteer with them, but they didn't even offer. But at the end of the day, would it have helped? We really don't know. I don't want to beat up any decision at this point. The only decision I really care about at the end of the day was whether they turned that house into a crime scene or not. And in my mind, they did not. So that's where my complaint lies, with the actual physical collection of certain evidence that could have been beneficial. That's where my stuff comes in, because that is directly related to the case. This stuff here, we could speculate all day long whether it would have been helpful or not helpful, but we'll still never, find out one way or the other, right? They made a decision. They kept to that decision. They had over 300 bodies out there searching almost daily in the woods for Sebastian. I would have to say that was good manpower from where I'm sitting. And if I had to be fair about this, that would be good manpower, right? But I'm not fair about this because I'm one of those people that it's just not good enough. He's still not home. So, we're critical in that sense. But in a professional sense, Matt, or I keep calling him Matt, I don't know why. Ken Widener really got a lot of people active and got a lot of people there and had a massive search. And that is a good credit to this man that you see on the screen. All right, we're going to finish this up and then we'll move over to the next video.
We're just going to keep going at it.
Thank you so much for the work that you all are doing. And so
I wanted you guys to hear that right there. They're going to keep doing that. The very next day, they chose to scale back their search efforts. And that's been weighing on my mind because we were a week in. Did they finally get something? Was something analyzed? I mean, it was different from night and day. You just heard that on day 7. By day 8, that was their last day searching. It feels like something happened. Michelle's like, 3 o'clock, come around. I need to get off. Why she's ready to get off work. Well, you're going to be with me when you get off work. I'm ready. I'm going to sit here until you clock out. How about that? I got enough hot air left in me that I can yap for another 45 minutes. We're going to be here until Michelle gets off work. We're going to be here until Michelle gets off work. All right. So let's get back to this one. I think we're getting close. Are we getting close? Oh, okay. We're going to be here for a little minute and then we're going to get into the maps because I want to show you guys something. Okay.
Well, Blake, over the last 6 days, they have searched over 5 miles, and today they are continuing to expand those efforts. Numerous agencies have stepped in to help out in this search. The most recent addition, cave researchers. Officials say no place is exempt from where Sebastian may be. As a teen with autism, they say he likes to get into small spaces and hide. They suggest those who live nearby check in, around, and under all possible areas, including any creeks and streams, as it's common for children with autism to be drawn to bodies of water.
This just drives me. I don't know who else, now that we know so much about Sebastian, those statements about being drawn to water, they're talking about statistics. They're not talking about Sebastian. And I'm just going to state this. I just feel like 7 days into the case, they should have been speaking about Sebastian and his personality and who he is as a person. And is he in this category of being gravitated toward water? I think they would have found out not so much. Now, would that stop them from searching water? No, I wouldn't want it to stop them from searching water. I just want them to be We just know that they're not speaking about Sebastian a week after he disappeared when they make statements like this. And it's a pet peeve for me.
Sumner County EMA Director Ken Widener says his crews are keeping the hope alive and giving it their all to locate Sebastian.
We're close to 5 miles now. Now, the further south you go towards Hendersonville, we get into the city, and we would expect he would be located or seen if he were in the city. And we've gone into the city, sort of in the fringe, in the more not as urban areas of Hendersonville. We've been all the way to the lake on the streams that travel to the lake. We've been to the lake.
So they don't believe he's in the city at all. They believe he's concentrated somewhere around there, at least a week into this investigation.
Drive to find him. We'll go talk to the parents in a little while, and every morning we sit and talk to them. We're going to do everything for them and for Sebastian to get him located.
No, I think they had it right. We want to do everything as much for them. And Sebastian always seems to come later. But I don't want a dog. That's just my little personal BS with Sumner County. It has nothing to do with Sebastian. But I think that we need to focus on Ken Widener and his statements, because he's the one that really facilitated this search, y'all. He was the one that put all of this together and had the big maps in this hub. And we're going to go into the lair in just a moment. And I want you guys to take some screenshots, because I think it'll be beneficial, because you guys know what we're about to start doing. We're going to get back to Sebastian and leave all this drama nonsense alone. And what do we need to focus on? We need to focus on areas. How are we going to focus on areas when law enforcement has been very thorough in certain areas? Well, we need to locate what areas law enforcement has searched, so we can go outside those and have good knowledge of the map and where we could potentially get some something, right? My husband believes since day one, CP and KP put him in water somewhere because they are military. I'm not sure what to believe other than CP and KP did something evil. Renee, I won't lie to you. That's exactly what my cousin said. My cousin said when he found out they were military, he thought they were Army, and he started going through some Army stuff. I said, they're not Army, they're Navy. And he's like, oh, you need to search the water. That was like he's having his whole dissertation about, some land stuff. And when I said, well, he's not in the Army, he's in the Navy. I mean, he just stopped dead in his track and said, you need to look in the water. That's it. I mean, it just is. He goes, you need to look in the water. He goes, that is a place of comfort for people from the Navy. So I've said that as well, Renee. So yeah, I agree with your husband, and that's why I kept saying, because there's a lot of people out there that have sonar on their boats, and they're out there just fishing and having just having a relaxing day, which everybody's entitled to. But I'm thinking, if you got a sonar and you're going under an overpass, just how much time could it really take to go up and do a couple circles under those overpasses with your boat, just to see what's under there and see if there's anything? There's a lot of people, not right now because it's too cold in Tennessee, but during the summer, there's a lot of people out on the water, and a lot of people, you could see that they had equipment on their boats. And it's just, all I'm asking is, if you're out there in the waters and you've got equipment on your boat, and this should be best practices for anybody. You never know what you're going to find, right? Just take a couple passes of the overpass. If you see something there, call it in. So I think that would really be beneficial. But, at the end of the day, whether he's alive or a more grave situation, we need to be hitting it at all fronts, because at the end of the day, we don't know. We pray to God. We know God can move mountains, and we're hoping he's safe and sound. But we can't sit here and hope and not do anything thinking he's safe and sound. We've got to look at every avenue possible until he's located. And some of those avenues are pretty dark, and it sucks. I would check every single building he built. I don't know. It sounds like one of the interviews I saw sounds like he stated that they've searched his the aunts' houses, the grandparents' houses, everybody in his family that has ever had contact with this child. It sounds like that they've searched their house. I don't know to what level. I mean, if it was the same level that they searched ground zero, bring a couple dogs through and a heat sensor. I mean, I don't know what kind of searches they did. I hope that they would be, good searches. But they may have just had a search warrant to find Sebastian, and if they have a search warrant to find Sebastian, the only thing that they're allowed to do is look in anywhere that Sebastian could be. If it doesn't matter if they had 20 ounces of, standing up, stacked up in the wall. If it didn't have nothing to do with Sebastian, they got to cover it up and walk out of the house. They can't take it with them, and they can't affect arrest because that's not what they were in the house to do. Now, they might come back later with the proper warrant to collect that. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying they'd have to cover it back up and leave it behind, and it sounds crazy that officers could literally see that and may have to. I've heard that it's had to happen before. Now, don't think that they didn't come back. And usually when they come back, everything's gone. I think that even happened in the Dylan Rounds case because they talked to the one guy and he had the guns, but they didn't collect them. And then they got the warrant to collect the guns and went back there and they were all gone. Come to find out, he had given them to a friend to hide because he was a felon and couldn't be in possession of those items. So they ended up arresting him for it anyways and finding out that his friend had them. So then they arrested the friend for obstructed, something like that. I can't remember exactly the fine details, but I believe it was something like that. Hey, allegedly with Brittany. It's nice to see you, my love. It was nice to see you. So that was that one. And I wanted to show you guys something. And this is the reason why I'm showing you this. I'm going to try to be as brief as possible. Everything happens up at the front of this, so it should be fairly quick to go over this. This was the original interview. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, not that we haven't seen it in a really long time, I want to show you how news organizations can unintentionally manipulate the truth. Okay. What we're about to watch is the news broadcast that was broadcasted from the interview with the mom and stepfather on WSMV. This is the one that was fully edited. This looks like a grief-stricken mom and dad. And then we're going to go over to the more raw footage and show you how much is actually cut out. And this is what really upsets me with news organizations. Now, again, I understand that they are designed much differently than social media in the fact that they have limited places that they can stick stuff. So they do have to edit them to fit the segment that they're allowed in. Some of these segments are literally a minute and 27 seconds, right? You're like, a minute and 27 seconds. It's like, yeah, it's down to the second like that in news broadcasting. Okay. It's not like that for us here on social media. So was this intentionally designed? Even though the interviewee knew that something wasn't right with this interview, why did she edit it in such a way that painted the picture of the parents much different than they displayed themselves at that interview? Let's see what I'm talking about.
I don't know where he's at.
Hold on.
Mom Katie broke down several times in
Hold on.
Okay. Hope that their son Sebastian will return home safely.
Can you walk us through what you're thinking right now? I just want my baby to be okay.
Okay. Now that was the broadcast that they sent to the public. Now I want to get to the original, more raw footage, and I want to show you how they were able to manipulate. Now, did this interviewer mean to do that? I don't know.
Obviously, everyone wants to hear what you have to say. And it's all about bringing Sebastian home and safely. So first, just express, I can't even imagine as a parent what you two are going through. How would you describe the situation right now? How are you coping?
Much different than this. Much, much different than that. And that's just subtle manipulations. And we all have to edit. If we do this and we're out there, we all edit videos. But we still try to capture the context in which it was given. We don't try to edit it to modify certain stuff out of it so it doesn't show the way it was done. For example, I wouldn't expect her to shine a bad light on them. I just think that certain other clips should have been used in her short edited video that they were doing for a news clip. And it wasn't. It really did. When you watch this interview as a whole, the edit doesn't put into context what was going on in that house. It was very much different. So that's the point I was trying to make. I understand that the news lady has a job to do and it's getting attention for this case. And we all have weird interviews. Trust me. There's been some very, very, very interesting interviews that I've done. It takes some of them are very, very challenging. Some of them are very, very challenging. But I just wanted to show you that. Now we're going to get back to Ken Widener, and we're going to look at the maps here just shortly. We're getting close.
The day that doesn't go by that I don't think about Sebastian.
EMA Director Ken Widener has headed up search efforts around.
There, you see that? That's not a fake map. I misunderstood this right here being a fake map. But it's not a fake map. We're going to get to the one that actually shows different things, and we need to mimic this map. They covered a lot of ground, by the way.
Sebastian's home and beyond from the very beginning.
And we need to be looking at these clips right here because Ken Widener is showing all the places that they have cleared on these maps in this interview. And because we've been focused on the mom and stepdad's interview, we're not looking at these maps correctly because we're going over stuff that has already been gone over. And if we look at some of these, believe it or not, Ken Widener does show us the search map. Yes, we have, and there's several of them. There's several different types of maps that he uses, and he shows all of them in these clips, several different clips over time. You can get a good context of what has been searched.
And it is his team that stands ready to act on any credible lead that comes from the tip line.
We have K9 on standby. We have
See, even that little clip there.
On any credible lead that comes from the tip line.
Did I miss it? Right there. See, even stuff like this. These are the legit maps that are being presented here. And this is talking about different ponds and stuff like that. Here's a pond map. As you see, different caves and deer blinds are also listed in this particular map right here to help us with the ponds, the caves, and the blinds that are out there that Sebastian could be in. And we need to find a way to overlay this over a legitimate map to help isolate areas.
We have K9 on standby. We have search teams on standby. We got drones ready to go, and we go.
The question of what happened.
Okay, I think that's all I wanted to show you on that. You know, I can't stand that man's voice, unfortunately. And once again, we need to go back. I don't know how. Here we go. We're going to have to listen to Nick's voice, but at the end of the day, he's the one with these maps on his channel.
Here in the first 8 days after.
There we go. Somehow or another, we need to find a way to overlay that right there. Because it's that right there. That is their search radius. You see all the little circles in color? You see these circles? There's a radius there. There's another radius over here. There's another one over here. There's another one right here. And they're all isolating something in here. But we've had them this whole time. We've never, ever, ever applied them to our actual maps that we are searching from. Give the map to Chris from the mob crew. I bet he could do it. Oh, that's a great idea. But we need to find a way to overlay so we can finally carve out what areas law enforcement has searched and mark those off the list. Not that, I mean, we got to look at Elijah Vu's case. Elijah Vu's case did what? It told us that no matter how much effort we put toward searching for somebody, it is possible to overlook things. We had the same situation happen in Brian Laundrie's case. I was out there for 5 weeks. We were all over the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park. We did not go over to the swamp. We did not go over to, back in Venice where they asked up the search and went over there. It didn't make sense to us. Why? Because his car was parked there, and we know that he either got a ride with somebody or went in the woods from there. How far could he possibly go? He'd have to be near something that could charge things, have water. We took all of these things into consideration. I can tell you, I'm not law enforcement. I would have never took the whole entire search team and moved it 45 minutes away. I would have had the search still going on at the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park while we split the team and took half the team to the other area. So the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park was fully searched. And they didn't do that because they had indication that somebody was living in the woods out there in Venice. And so I was popping back between both locations during the Gabby Petito to check to see what information was going on. Meanwhile, also searching in the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park. 2 things I can tell you. I have been on 3 different cases where there was a body laying out in the open. I was a firm believer, because I'm country, when we have cows die or other things out in the, in the fields, you get some bird activity, to say the least. I'm accustomed to seeing bird activity. In 3 cases, there were no bird activity, 2 of which I witnessed myself. One was the Brian Laundrie case. We were out there from literally the day he disappeared to the day he was found. No bird activity. We heard flies. We could hear a flock of flies somewhere. We could hear the bzzz, but we couldn't even find out where they were coming from. But we didn't have the circling of birds, okay? Now, in the Colin Knapp case with Kathleen, she was his on and off girlfriend. I knew she was out there behind the house. I knew it because this is what kind of brought me to that realization. When Colin was talking about the event, we had some people go into the house. It was friends of Kathleen because we wanted to hear what they had to say. And as soon as he said that the FBI, because I had already been back in the swamp behind his house, when he said that the FBI or law enforcement broke his back gate to raid his house, I knew that was a lie. I knew that was a lie because they would not have been able to get to that back gate. How do I know that? Because there's a huge swamp there and it had water moccasins. It would have been unsafe entry for any law enforcement to go that route. So as soon as I heard that back gate was broke, I knew exactly where she was. And she sat out there, I believe, for almost a week as well. And I was out in front of that house. No bird activity. The closest we came for bird activities were there was 3 crows sitting on top of a house. And I remember pointing them out, thinking about how creepy that was, that these 3 crows, and they were big crows too, and they were just looking at us. And it was sitting on a house like 2 houses down. And I believe that's where they found her. But this, I just want to make sure you guys know there's no guarantee that there's bird activity. And then, of course, Elijah Vu. I know everybody was probably looking in the skies trying to find any direction to go to find him. And I'm pretty confident he didn't have bird activity either. So it's not a guarantee that you're going to have bird activity just because you have a death. I was very much on that mindset that if you have something deceased, look up in the sky, follow the birds, right? That's not the case. And those are 3 examples of it not being the case. Just a food for thought, just food for thought. But I think this right here, we need to have downloaded. Let's see if there's, I think there might be other maps. I think it gets a little closer. Yes, it does have a couple more shots of different maps.
The teen disappeared.
This is the system that we use.
This is the system we use. This is their system.
To track all of our searchers.
Sumner County
Those are
EMA.
the searchers. So they're using this map to track their searchers. They're showing the map that they're using, and they're showing the dots of their searchers.
Director Ken Widener spearheaded the search using crews on foot and drones. Divers searched ponds. Spelunkers were called in to check sinkholes.
The white dots are caved, and they've all been searched.
There it is. This is Sebastian's map. Right here. There's what's been searched. There's a lot of areas that haven't been searched in this map. Lots of areas that haven't been searched in this map. This, I would have to think that the red is heavy concentration, and as it lightens up, the leader, less amount of concentration of searching done. But there are some gaps here, folks. There are some absolute gaps. Now, what are those gaps for? They could be huge mountains that nobody can scale. I mean, we don't know, right? We don't know what we don't know sitting on this side of the screen. But we do have, I just want everybody to understand, we do have maps. We just never really paid attention to them.
Hounds and cadaver dogs were used, but contrary to some reports,
none of them, my understanding, were actually on a trail that was following Sebastian.
Search efforts.
Yep. So now we don't have any contact with dogs. We have search efforts. You guys seen that map? They had a heavy concentration. We have no scent from dogs. And look what they're doing. They are literally putting a 3D camera imaging scanner in their backyard. Not in their front yard, in their backyard.
Then continued for months. There was simply no trace of the teen found, no scent trail.
I think that might have been the only, I think that was the only camera, or the only, we're just focusing on the maps, guys. I'm not focusing on the whole story that they have. So that, we still have more. So that really does kind of bring us back. Now you guys see the focus I'm going. I think there's a lot of details in the map. Now we have to apply a behavior. We have to apply the people that we feel would be most problematic. We got to look at their history and see where they've lived, what their comfort zone is, because whoever took Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers will be taking him to a place they feel comfortable, that they know. Not that the neighbor down the road across the over the bridge and through the freaking creek, right? They're not worried about that neighbor. They don't know where that neighbor came from. And they don't know where that neighbor feels comfortable. It's the person that took the child. That's the person you need to be looking into, because wherever Sebastian may be would be a place comfortable to that person. That's why it's so important to identify these people up front, get as much background and history on them as humanly possible, and find locations near the location of the child missing and their comfort zone. That comfort zone typically is where you end up finding the missing person. Now, we also learned, I believe it was Justin for All, that told us about Uncle Danny being with the stepfather. Uncle Danny's places of comfort and interest might be of interest to others as well. Because if there's two people there, which place did this child go to that they would feel comfortable that this child would go to? See how that works? That's just one example of why it's important to look at the history and past background of folks, because this child will be with whoever took him. This child's going to be a place that is known by that person. It is very highly, highly unlikely that somebody is going to do a custody issue, kidnap, or unalive somebody and dump them in a place or take them to a place or drop them off at a place that is unknown to them. Do you guys agree with that statement? If you do, put a 1 in the chat. Home construction sites. And that's another issue that we have, is that his family does have a construction business, a very successful construction business at that. And there are multiple properties in different stages of construction. Would his family member know that? Yeah. It seems like their family that they hang out with and are tight with are tight. I'm a different kind of parent, right? When my stepdaughter was here, when my grandchildren were here, they took responsibility for their actions. I can tell you, if my stepdaughter or one of my grandchildren were under my roof and they hurt somebody, I don't cover that up. I'm not that kind of parent. I'm the kind of parent that will send you to the law enforcement, make you sit in that chair and tell you to remain silent until I get you a good attorney. That's the kind of parent I am. Escaping responsibility, I'm not that kind of parent. I think all children, what makes children, my dad was the same way. I will tell you that. My dad was the same way. I was 9 years old when I stole my first pack of cigarettes. Okay? I got my butt whipped. My dad took me back up to the store, made me take my piggy bank. Now, mind you, this is back when cigarettes were like 99 cents or $1. And I had to give the clerk my entire piggy bank, which was $23. Mind you, it took me a whole summer of work to get that $23. And I had to hand it over to the clerk along with the pack of cigarettes and whatever cigarettes were out. And my dad looked at him and said, if you need to call the cops, go ahead and call the cops. That I will not lie. That is exactly what my mom and dad were both there. They were highly upset. They took me up there and made me take responsibility for stealing. It was a very embarrassing situation and quite frankly scary. I never stole again. I shouldn't say that. We stole parents' cigarettes from that point on. Not my parents' cigarette, my other friend's parents. My parents didn't smoke. It was obvious whenever I was trying to do bad. But it was one thing that changed the direction of how I did it. You know, I've never stole from a store again. So I don't know. I believe that you make good children because they learn from their mistakes if you allow them to have their mistakes. And you know what? With the life I did, if that experience didn't happen to me whenever I was out on out there in left field, what happens if I would have done like an armed robbery or something, right? Maybe what kept me from doing that was because of this embarrassment over here where I almost went to jail for stealing a pack of cigarettes. So, that's tough love. That's, I think, what parents this day and age are missing right now. Your children break the law, they need to be held accountable. And you know what? Sometimes holding them accountable doesn't mean law enforcement's involved, because the clerk at the front desk said, no, sir, I think she's learned her lesson, right? He could have called the law enforcement on me. I could have had a ride down to juvenile detention. But he realized I learned my lesson. I had a face full of tears. I just had to hand him all my money, and he got the pack of cigarettes. Right? So I was able to walk from that crime. For those in the back, that was like 38 years ago. I think the statutes of limitations has run out for those that just saying. Just saying. But it was just an experience, and I really do believe parents need to do that. Now, I don't think that that's ever happened. I think the stepfather's mother has always coddled him and has always did everything so he was never held accountable. And I think this is why we're in the situation where we're in, where we've got a man that has to have anger management classes, that can't control his own behavior. Hell, he can't even control watching somebody talk about him. If he has an ability to call in and scold them, he will, because he has to be in control of every blessed thing. Maybe this is what he's learned through his life. If he can control it, he'll get out of it. But this is a little bit past that point, in my opinion. We have a missing child here. This is not, what he did was pretty horrible anyways. But we also don't have very much from Eric Craddock related to this case. So I just grabbed two. There's another press conference, but I was highly upset that our press conference with, back in April wasn't more robust, didn't have a picture of Sebastian, really wasn't, in my opinion, well done. I think they could have done more instead of focusing on the investigation of the case in the press conference. They could have focused more on Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers and the avocation of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. I think that is something that they did not do a very good job at. And I hope in the future, if they do choose to have press conferences, that they Guy, G-U-Y, Carol, G-U-Y. And I hope that in future press conferences, if they choose to have future press conferences, I hope that they focus some of their time and attention to Sebastian and not just the case. So let's listen to what they said.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Eric Craddock from the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and I'm the Chief Deputy here, joined by Ken Weiner, the Director of Sumner County EMA. Wanted to come to the public and give you guys an update on the search for Sebastian Rogers. Last Monday morning at about 6:30, Sebastian was reported missing from his home. Since then, we've conducted an extensive and exhaustive search around the home, looking for any evidence, any trace of Sebastian. At this time, the decision's been made to scale back on the ground search operations. Let me be clear that this does not diminish our commitment to finding Sebastian. This is simply us transitioning from the ground search to the investigative side. We are still committed to finding Sebastian and bringing him home safe. We have no leads, no details to indicate that Sebastian is not alive. We are going to follow up on every lead. We have a planned response if anyone has a sighting of Sebastian. Our patrol deputies will be out. Our investigators will be out. We are still coordinating with law enforcement across the state. We are still consulting with experts. This decision does not come lightly. We have consulted with, and I've deferred to the experts in search and rescue. Every time we've asked, they've said you've done everything you can do. At this time, Director Weiner.
Yeah. So we'll continue to have a command post at the fire station there. We won't man it 24/7, but we will have K9 units in the area. We'll have teams ready to go. The sheriff's office will have deputies on patrol, and if we get any report, we'll respond to that location. We'll send K9 to that location and search teams should we get any information. So we will continue, and any tips we get, we will reactivate to the level we need to respond with.
So that's the scaling back. Was this the wrong decision for Sumner County? Don't answer that just yet. I'm not on that screen.
I'd like to take a moment and thank all the first responders.
Okay, well, we always thank the first responders related to this, but a lot of this has to do with what I originally stated. Aw, thank you, Nanette. One of the original things that I had stated was this area doesn't have the money for this type of search. This is the largest search, I believe, of Sumner County's history to date. It costs a lot of money. If we want to, is CYN here? That's nice. It's nice to see you. Welcome to this crazy train of fact finding, and good luck out there in the sea. Good luck out there in the sea. I don't know what to tell you. It's crazy out there. It's crazy out there. Was it a good decision for them to scale back? Was it not a good decision? It all comes down to money. Okay, it comes down to money. If we really wanted to be effective and start reinvigorating these search efforts, I really think it's going the governor route. Getting the governor to sign money to Sumner County so they can continue searches. It is my belief that this is a money problem. Okay, we haven't had one good search after 7 days. How long did it take for Elijah Vu to be found? They never stopped searching for him. You know why? Because they utilized the public in citizen searching and utilized them to set up the searches and worked with law enforcement to identify areas to search. This whole county has just pushed the public out when the public could be utilized so much. At this point, what difference does it make? Right? What difference does it make if they're not searching? Why shouldn't anybody else stop searching? Why would they want to hinder other people searching? Why would they not release the areas that they search so people don't go into those same areas and can search other areas? There's so much more that could be done. If they truly wanted to find Sebastian, unless they know for a fact he's not in the area. But like everything else, we always have to do it the hard way, right? We always have to do it the hard way, but that's where we excel. Social media excels in thinking outside of the box, finding information in unusual places, right? We work hard, we sleuth, we find details of the case in back rooms of chat rooms and social media with our sleuthing and things of that nature. This is going to be one of those things where we don't really have to sleuth very much. All we got to do is look at a few videos and apply them to a flipping map. If somebody knows, I don't know how to do that. I'd love to think I'm a Jackie of all trades, and in many senses, I tout myself as that. But maps, I'm not good at. I'm good at reading them. I'm not good at preparing them, okay? I'm also not good at 3D imagery. And somebody had 3D. Ooh, I think I saved it. And ooh, we need to look inside the house. I forgot I had that. Oh my goodness. We need to see something. Did you guys see the 3D imaging of their house? Inside their house? Somebody took time to do it. Yeah. Hold on a second. Where's my history? Where's my mystery? Where is my playlist? I got it somewhere, guys. Give me just a second. Let me look at this. There it is. Nope. Okay. Where is it? I think it's at the bottom. I think when they add. There it is. Holy smokes. All right, guys. This is from In My Opinion. I think we've seen In My Opinion in the chat. I don't know. For whatever reason, I think me and In My Opinion kind of might have had some words at one time. I don't know why. I don't know why that name sounds familiar. But either way, I give credit where credit is due. And this was really interesting. For those that want to see this. Oops, I got it too large. Hold on a second. There we go. There we go. I don't know why, in my opinion, is ringing a bell, but I'm telling you, I know. Look at that. This is stuff that I cannot do, okay? And this is where I lean on other people. Things I cannot do, I go to people that can do them and look at the work that they do, right? So this is from In My Opinion. It looks like they may have created it because it's under theirs, and I don't see any water markings from anybody else. So to have to think that they are the ones that created this. So let's look at this. There's no sound, but there it is. So there it is. So now we see a bathroom, a garage, the stairs to the upper level. We see, so this must be, I would think this is the front of the house. Yes, this is the front of the house. This is the kitchen. So let's keep going. The master bedroom, the other kid's room. We got the bathrooms. There you go. So that looks like that's Faith's room.
No.
I don't know what that noise is behind it, but.
Selling fast. Or like 347 ticket. Be like in the middle.
Yeah, there's somebody's voice on here. I guess they didn't realize it was recording over it. So that must be what I would presume as the. And there's the out to the back. Dining room. I don't know whose voice that is, but that shows you around the 3D of their house, so you can get a full layout of the home. You can get a full layout of the home and see where everything is. Now, I have to think, like everybody keeps talking about him having the code to the front door lock, and I will maintain this. I've got a front door lock that's coded as well. And the motor inside my door is loud. Even I'm deaf in one ear. I can barely hear a damn thing, right? I mean, you can sit on one side of me and be talking mad smack, and I'll be like, hey, how you doing? Because I can't hear you. And I can hear my door knob open and shut because of the motor. Chris from Mob Crew can do it, Bets. Okay. Well, this is the, here's the links that I have for the maps. He'll have to find them and see if he can apply them. Here's one of them. Hold on, let me get back here. Here's one of them. Hey, Lady 7-Up, it's nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. There's one of them. That was 1 second. Hold on. Where's the other one? That's the one I just gave. Okay, here's... Oh, that's the one I just gave. Hold on, then it's got to be this one. This has got to be the one with the big maps. No, this is Eric Craddock's statements. No, it's got to be this one here. Nope. So it's going to be here. I got that one. And so this one must be the next one. I can't find the second one with the maps in it. Hold on here. I had them. I got that one. So it has to be this one. Yeah. Yes, this is the other one right here. Okay. And here's the other one. If he can capture those maps and find a way to overlay them, that would be great. Those were the two links that I was using. Those are the two links I was using that I found. Now, there might be other links. I've got to go through them. Those were the ones that I knew for a fact had some maps in them. And so really the only point of this was showing you we do have search maps, and they're legit search maps from the searches when they were having the searches. We just need to look for them. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. We just need to look for them and then apply them to a map so we can see what's been searched and identify the areas that haven't been searched. Well, we're going to be Aletha, we're going to be going shutting the live down anyways. I want to do the poll. I don't know how many people have done the poll. Do we have the search maps? Now it's too late to do the poll because you guys, and this is what I wanted. So I'm ending the poll now anyways, but this is what I wanted. We have for our poll, we had 420 search, 65% said no, and 34% said yes. So if you were part of the 34%, you are smarter than a fifth grader today. Yay! Oh.
Warning, bullshit alert.
We know you're not smarter than a fifth grader. Come on. Bullhorn Betty's doing what?
You're a liar.
Never thought I'd have to use the buttons on myself. I'm just joking. So yes, we do have original maps. That's the first time I was able to get my audience. I love it. You got usually you guys are spot on. You guys are right on the money, but I knew that one would throw you because it was really something. I think it was on Justin's channel last night when I was watching. I fell asleep on him. I won't lie. I love you, Justin. You weren't putting me to sleep. I was just tired. And something was said there, and it started getting me thinking about these maps. If we could just find out where they searched. And then I remembered Nick Barris. All right. The Dingle Dwarf. We'll call him Ding Dong, okay? We'll call him Ding Dong. The Ding Dong actually had some stuff that Bullhorn Betty likes. Okay, Nick, you win. You win today. Well, you win today. That's it. So, your baby's birthday. Aletha, happy birthday to your baby. Let me get over here to all of our beautiful people. I don't think we met our goal. Did we meet our goal? Did we not? We almost met our goal, but that's okay. We come back. It was something to help raise funds for the attorney. And depending on how everything goes, we'll see if I can. If we had made the goal, I would have immediately set up the live tonight at 8. So now we'll see who's all live at 8 tonight and see if what's going on, or if we can go in. Sundays I really don't do a whole lot. I think I probably should work more on Sunday and take Monday as more of a relaxing day instead of taking Sunday as a relaxing day and working so hard on Monday. Because on Monday, everybody's so scatterbrained trying to get to work and getting their week started that, they're not worried about YouTube or cases when they've got kids having to go to, basketball and softball practice or, being on the carpool crew, So Aletha says, I caught up and you were talking about names. You mentioned you finally got mine right. I did. Shining Star with the super chat. Melanie says, happy Sunday, everyone. Betty, you were amazing. Aletha says they can put you in jail, but they cannot look for their own child. Numbnuts, that is correct. We got Grace Upon Grace, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. We want you found and pray daily for your safe return. Absolutely. Aletha, thank you so much. It's time to put on them boots, folks. Time to put on them boots. And Grace Upon Grace reminds us not all individuals with ASD are attracted to water, but many are, but not all. Make sure you hit that like button. If you guys haven't hit that like button, please be sure to hit the like button. Praying every day Sebastian will be brought home to his daddy. I have so much love for Sebastian and Seth, even though I've never met them. Sebastian's Army. Carol says, Betty, in my opinion, they need to look at what CP and KP was doing before Sebastian went missing. Good statement. There's been a lot of statements that I'm working through right now. Somebody sent to me a transcript of an interview that Chris did, and it said something like, I've got it in the emails. Maybe we'll do a We Got Mail live later today, but it's stated or tomorrow. I'm not sure which. Tomorrow's going to be a pretty busy day for me as well, but we'll figure it out. And it was a transcript of Chris stating that he had not seen Sebastian since early February before he saw him on February 26th, before February 26th, implying he saw him on February 26th. And I've got the transcript so we can read it in black and white. And that's what it sounds like it says. So we need to go back and listen to that. I know we're tearing these things up because we kind of know. We just need to find somebody that's willing to come forward and tell us likes and behaviors and stuff, so that can help gear our mind of where we could possibly search. And since the mom and stepdad are being uncooperative, at least eliminating that aspect of it, since they won't help us eliminate that aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? Might be a possibility. What does Danny look like? That's a good question. I've only seen one photo of Danny, and I saw it really early on in the case. I'm pretty sure I filed it in Sebastian's file, but I have over 1,000 different attachments in his file. So I'll have to go back and see if I can find it. I've seen it before. I've seen him before. I can't remember what he looks like. I've seen so much. I don't remember specifically what he looks like. But if I recall, you can tell that him and the stepfather are family. If I remember correctly, I believe they have the same build, if that makes sense, if I'm not mistaken. Alita, thank you. Ginger, Sebastian's Army, we love you. Thank you, BHB. Thank you. And Nanette and our beautiful Grace upon Grace. I'm ready for dog searches. Yeah, I know. Me too. We need to figure out what we're going to do here. Sebastian's Army, Lady 7 Up. Can't leave. Going to listen. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Bobby. Dingleberry. Well, you know what I was wondering? Maybe I should just call him a ho-ho, but I've got that one saved for somebody special right here on this platform. So don't want to get too cray-cray. All right, guys. So just to recap, we know that the reason why we're focusing on the mom and stepdad is because their behavior hasn't been right since the beginning. We all kind of let's be honest, we side-eyed all three parents at the beginning, okay? We side-eyed all three parents at the beginning. But what here on social media in the true crime genre do we ask of a parent, right? We ask them to basically tell us everything, right? We ask them to put it all out on the table. We ask them to produce information for their alibi. And we ask them if they're willing to take a lie detector test. We all know that lie detector tests are inadmissible in a court of law, but we still want to see it. Why? I don't know. It's just what we want, right? So what did Seth do? Seth produced his alibi. He has done a public polygraph test and passed by a well-known FBI-trained polygrapher. So we know his was done properly. And it's the Nancy Grace show. She just wants the truth. Like, she ain't jacking up anybody's stuff, right? So everything that we ask of a parent in a situation like this, Seth has done, right? He has taken a beating from all of these trash and hate channels, and he still gets up every single day and tries to find ways to bring his son home every day. You don't see him out here on, getting all these creators to talk about all the stuff he's going through. No, he asks us to come out here and find out, advocate for his son, and any information we learn to send it over to law enforcement. That's our marching orders, right? I can tell you out of every single conversation I have ever had with Seth, the mom and stepdad are brought up literally very, very little. I can't remember the last time we actually talked about the mom and stepfather, because it was more in talking about what we heard on their interviews. Is this true? Is this not true? Type of stuff. But most every time I have an opportunity to speak with Tony, which is one person that's missed, I missed from my intro, is Tony, and Tony's hard work in this case. Right? And so it's like every time we talk, it's Sebastian focused. It's places that we can search. It's, there's nothing here. It's just map. It's a lot of stuff. Where are we, when we go back down there for court, where are we going to be flying the drone? Where are we going to go? What property are we going to search next? You see what I'm saying? So it's always been Sebastian focused, even with the horrible things that are being said. It's very rarely that we get on the phone together and it's like, man, this is really, really, really bad. I don't know what to do. If I see something that's really out of character, I don't need to call anybody. Nobody tells me what to do. If I think something's wrong, I'm going to come up here and talk about it. The way Seth was treated was absolutely disgusting and appalling. He's just trying to find his son. But he has never made his interviews about him or the shit he's going through. It's always about his son. However, every single freaking interview we have from the mom and stepdad, it's about poor me, poor me, poor me, poor me. And I could give two whats about them. They seem like they're doing just fine. They have time to be shopping for motorcycles during a vigil. They have time to go over to a motorcycle rally in South Carolina. They seem like they're doing just fine. I'm not too concerned about them. I'm concerned about the child that nobody knows where's at. Or it seems like at least the mom and stepdad really don't seem to care much about what he's going through, because they're so worried about everything they're going through. Those are just a few of the reasons why this stinks to high heaven. And we're not even getting into them running away from home in the middle of the biggest search effort underway. We're not even going to get there. Hong is a guy from At Night Private Intelligence. I don't know what he actually does there specifically. I don't know if he's in the intelligence gathering aspect, if he's in like a management aspect. I really don't know what his true, I know I've heard what his true title is. I just can't remember it off the top of my head. But he's with At Night. He works hand in hand with Nick the Hat and Dog the Bounty Hunter. But he just doesn't take any crap. He's over it. I can tell you that. And when you talk about hurting a kid, you're going to have that man up your craw for days. So that's the situation that some of these people got themselves in, all by themselves. So they can sit there and smear me all day long. It's from here to there. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't take away what they're doing today, right? I can't believe that. I saw some case records on me dating back to 1995. For justification of their poor behavior today. I can't. We're not going into the drama. I'm out of it. I'm done with it. I don't have time for it. We don't have time for it. Sebastian doesn't deserve it. Sebastian deserves real people talking about his case and giving him the time of day he deserves, and without all this nonsense and garbage and yuck. Nobody has time for this. It's Sunday. People can be nasty and angry, or they can get up and try to do something better. That's the choices each and every one of you guys have. And as you can tell, on a Sunday morning, we have more people sitting over in drama channels, bitching, moaning, and groaning, and not lifting a finger to help. And you see the people over here trying to at least advocate for this child. So if you want to blame anybody, blame the audience. There's nobody else to blame. Just saying. Just saying. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe. But more importantly, Be kind to one another. It is Sunday. We have a lot of prayers. I just want a big shout out for River. River's going through something herself right now, going through a lot of pain. If we can just throw some prayer hands up in the chat for River and pray today for peace and comfort with her and her family, along with all the other people that are suffering, some in silence, some we know about. We still need to keep our hands on Sonia. Mr. and Mrs. E and Middle E are still having struggles. There's a lot of stuff we can be doing besides drama, right? This is where the real work begins. God moves mountains. So prayer, that's what we do. That's what we do. God bless you guys, and we'll see you back here real soon. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you. God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.